not a thing.
Not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the I Tap That Cigar Show presented by Corona Cigar. I'm your host, Kevin from Cigar Prop, and I'm coming to you live from the Drew Estate Experience Acid Studios here on the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars. What's going on, Kerr?
Yeah, man. Living the life, Kevin. How you doing?
Living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
That's all you can do. That's it.
That's it. Just keep on keeping on. So the other night, Jessica was making dinner, and she's I guess being in the restaurant business for so many years, I am concerned about cross contamination. Jessica, not so much. She was making a salad or something. She had some bacon. She had some bacon cooked up. She brought out our kitchen scissors, shears, and she was cutting the bacon up into strips for her salad, whatever it is that she was having. She put them back in the knife block, bro. The knife block. She just cut bacon. Right. Bacon.
I
don't know.
I'm not. Jennifer's watching tonight, so I can't get involved in this conversation because I might not be able to get back into the house after we have a conversation about this. But yeah, I feel your pain. I understand where you're coming from.
I don't get it. I do not get it. It's just everything like Wyatt. He likes a special ham, and she takes it out of the package and puts it on his plate, and then she zips the package back up with the ham. Ham, it's pork. Trichinosis. Puts it right back in the fridge. Now we got trichinosis on everything. So Jen had out chicken the other night to make chicken parm, and she has it out on this tray, and it's like all spread out, and there's like a cigar cutter, and like one of the pieces of chicken's on the cigar cutter. I moved the cigar cutter. I go, honey. What? I go, a little bit of salmonella with the cigars. Like, I didn't even see it there. I go, how do you not see a black fucking cutter sitting with a piece of chicken laying on it? Oh my God. Yeah. Chicken's the worst, man. Chicken, like I said, and you don't wash your chicken beforehand because that just spreads that shit everywhere. So yeah, that was my it's been my week, dealing with trying not to everything else, the world trying to get me, and then my house is my safe haven, and then and then now everybody's trying to kill me with everything, trichinosis and salmonella and everything.
So you finally make it home after a hard day's work, and everyone try not to get you, and then you end up falling ill to trichinosis.
I know.
That's probably that would have sat in that butcher block and just waited like. It something like that is on it's part of a safety video where they're like the scissors go back in, they'll be like, and Jessica didn't realize that after putting the scissors back in the butcher block, it grew and it grows and it turned into a new strain of trichinosis. Then Kevin goes to cut his peanut butter and jelly sandwich in half.
I know. I'm gonna get rid of. I need to get rid of that butcher block because it's a wood butcher block. They're tough. They're tough to clean as it is, but now it just makes me wonder. And the one part of my brain wants me to cut it open to see what's inside there.
No, nothing good will become of it.
The part of me just burn it.
You'll never eat in that house ever again. If you cut open that butcher block, you will fucking order out every time.
Never. I want to get a magnetic one where everything just hangs where I can see everything perfectly.
No.
So,
hey, listen.
you want to get right into it? You want to get right into the cigar humidimeter cut and light?
Yes, let's get into that because I got a little housekeeping to do as well. So let's get right into it.
Well, let's start off with that because I got to light up a cigar. It's been a long day. So, as you all know, with the CigarMedics humidimeter, you always know when to hold them and know when to smoke them when smoking your cigars. This is fantastic. Kevin, what are you smoking tonight?
I've been on a JC Newman kick lately, so I'm smoking the Diamond Crown Julius Caesar, which is and it's at 61%. So I've got two. So Diamond Crown Julius Caesar, not an inexpensive cigar, but I'm backing that up with the El Baton, which is a really inexpensive cigar. So I've got those two that I'm working on tonight.
I gotta. Well, thanks for asking. Let me tell you what
I was about to ask. I was just getting ready to cut my
special tonight. I had something special for tonight. I got this the Seattle Pipe Club cigar.
Oh, right on.
If you've read about this, this was I think it was made with plum pudding, special reserve pipe tobacco.
Oh, right on. Made with it like 100% or added?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I remember I thought it was 100%, but I could be wrong. I don't want to lie. I'm at 63%. And then for my backup, Boda Cigars here and chatted with the guys from Boda who you met at PCA. Yeah. They got in Southern Draw, so I got Jacob's Ladder as my backup.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I want to go for a 1-2 punch. So I don't know what to expect from this plum pudding. I don't. I usually say plum pudding, but I've been living in the South long enough where I can get away with saying plum pudding.
Plum pudding.
Meemaw's plum pudding.
So, all right, I got a little housekeeping to do. I got to do a giveaway, but it's live on the air, and it's not for anybody tonight. We had a New Air wine cooler that we did a video on that we were giving away. I like to do the videos or the lives on me drawing, just so nobody can say there's anything shady, which there never is. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick and then do a live.
What kind of cold draw I'm getting off this? Go ahead.
A live drawing. Can you see that screen, Kerr?
I can.
All right.
Wow.
Cigar pulpit. So, all right. Let's see. At JOHN John Jensen 8086. I'm gonna pick one more just in case I can't get a hold of them. Tiger's Den.
Tiger's Den.
Tiger's Den. Have you has anybody seen Tiger Woods' new logo? It is absolutely
badass.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like the tiger. I don't like the way they did the lettering. Around the oh, it's horrible. Guy's a billionaire. He couldn't spend more than $5 on Fiverr for having someone design a look. I like the tiger. I don't like the lettering around it.
Really?
So yeah, I don't like the way that looks at all.
I like the tiger.
So
I do. I like it.
All right.
You think you'd have done a better job at Freever?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
All right. So before we bring on our guest tonight, we want to take a moment to thank all of our show partners for making this happen each and every week. I say it every week, but I mean it every week. We really can't make all of this happen without you. So thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars. We are the muscle. Illusione Cigars, deep in flavor, deep in your mind. Corona Cigar, and of course, Drew Estate and Experience Acid. All right, so waiting patiently in the Experience Acid Green Room is JB from Zeal Cigars. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Kevin? What's going on, Kerr? How you guys doing today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So
it's good. It's good to finally have you on.
It's been man. I think I just have popped in here and there, just over the last few years, man. I don't think I've ever actually just been on to talk to you guys, so it's a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Right on. Were you going to say something, Kerr? Before
I got to share something with you. I don't want to, but this Seattle Pipe Club. So the cold draw on this thing, Jen thought it tasted smoky, right? And so did I. But after I thought about it, it was exactly what I would expect a cigar to taste like if it was packed with skull.
Oh my God, skull!
Yeah, it had like this minty. It doesn't smoke that way now. It did actually. I could taste it. It has some smokiness to it, right? Like that, like fire cured. But the cold draw, I almost didn't light it up. I was gagging during the promos because it finally hit me. It was like if you open up a can of skull and smelled it, that's what it tasted like when I did a cold draw.
Like JB's face, I could see his wheels turning.
Dude,
video idea, like, skull, cigar. How do I put this together into a?
I'm like, do you have a dip of skull in right now? Like, should we check for this?
No, I didn't want to interrupt, but it was that pungent and that strong that I did have to interject that. That's what the cold. Now it's smoking great. It tastes good. It's got some of that pipe tobacco fire cured flavor to it. But man, that was very much like a skull.
Friends of mine were down from Canada a couple of years ago, and we happened to be at a gas station pumping gas, and there's a sign on the gas pipe like whatever skull or whatnot, like 3 for $10, 3 for whatever it is, 3 for 12, whatever super cheap. Yeah. And they told me in Canada it's $25 a tin.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
For that 25, I know guys that go through a whole tin in a day.
It's tobacco. When I used to chew, I would go through a can a day when I was at my height. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God! So I remember years ago we used to have one of our store managers that worked. Well, I want to say he worked for me. He did, but he was carrying my backpack, and he was always doing that stupid snapping thing, and he always had. And then he would come out in the shop, and then like we'd be working on a car, and then he would like push us off to the side, and then like spit like 3 feet into the trash can, and this like when he was new, and I'm like, bro. You're about to get knocked out. You ever do that again? Or he'd spit on the floor in the shop. An automotive shop, we're always on the ground. So I got back. Months go by. He's at his desk sleeping. So I'm waiting for my opportune time. I took one of his empty ones and I filled it with tire dust. When a flat tire goes bad, it creates all that dust inside the tire and debris. So I scooped it up inside that, and then I swapped them on his desk. Like one smooth motion, and we're sitting there waiting on him. He wakes up like half hour later, and he goes and grabs that thing, and he takes a big old pinch, and he puts it in his lip, and it's all rubber and just tire dust and granules. He was spitting that thing out for hours, and it was so hilarious.
Lesson learned.
That's one of those stories where dude never dips again because somebody messed with him, put some hot sauce in that, and he's just crying for 4 days.
Oh my God, Brad used to dip. I can't believe he was a dipper.
Oh yeah, he was. Dude, he was all about the on nicotine pouch, dude. The cinnamon nicotine pouches, bro. That was his thing.
God, I don't know. That's that just wrecks your mouth. And then I can't believe he had a palate for smoking, or cigars. I don't know.
Oh, the funniest thing was we would start videos sometimes, and he would be like, "This cigar is tasting funny, man." And I'm like, "Take that dip out of your mouth, you goon." He'd be like, "Oh, yeah."
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, the nicotine blast. So let's
cinnamon. So of course,
yeah, I know. Oh now you say that because he used to make fun of me forever because I would never get cinnamon out of a cigar. I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never got cinnamon, and now I know.
He probably had one of those in the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time he had cinnamon in his mouth all the time. So we're gonna kick right off. I can't believe I don't know this, but what does JB stand for?
Justin Burnett. Justin's
Burnett.
my first name. Burnett is my last name.
I don't think I ever knew that, or I never put two and two together. It's what, the B was your last name. Have you always been a JB?
No, it depends, man. Like everywhere I go, I get a new nickname. So like my whole life has just been a long list of nicknames. Some are great, and some are like I think I'll take those and take and leave some of them.
Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know. Mine's just prop. Everybody said not even cigar prop. People are lazy. When you say
Trash
cigar
Panda.
prop, and yeah, trash panda, but just prop.
TP.
So yeah, and then whatever vulgar words comes out of Jessica's mouth. So we won't repeat those. So
A lot of nicknames.
all right. So I know I said there's probably a few people here that don't know who you are, don't know your story. I'm sure everybody in the industry does. You've talked about it on the show, you've talked about it on the podcast. So we're not going to dive super deep into everything, but we know you're out there in Phoenix, Arizona at Zeal Cigars right now. But where were you born and raised? Let's start there.
Born and raised in Springfield, Ohio, which is a little town right outside of Dayton. Lived there for pretty much most of my life till I was about 14. Then I went and lived with my mom up in the suburbs of Cleveland in a little town called Medina. Lived that life for pretty much up until about my junior year of high school. And then I went back home and moved back to my dad's and graduated from the school I originally went to. My dad was having a serious neck surgery, and I wanted to be back just in case things went west.
So Medina, I've been to Cleveland because I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Cleveland's not it's not the cleanest city. How's Medina? Being
at
on
least
the
we're
outskirts
not Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're at least we're not Detroit.
That's a Cleveland joke. When everybody's like,
t-shirt.
dude, Cleveland's kind of dirty. We're like, at least it's not Detroit.
Yeah. So have you ever been?
Medina's very clean, very suburb, very old. There's a lot of the football players live in like Medina in a couple of the areas. There's a couple really ritzy communities. Like there's an older school money community, and then there's like a newer school money community, and there's a lot of like football players and basketball players that will live there. So like when I lived in Medina, I lived 20 minutes from where LeBron built that house in Akron.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a very nice. I lived very different lives. I lived like in the ghetto at Dayton, all the way to the county on a horse farm to the suburbs of Cleveland.
Yeah, have you ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah, it's been a long time though, bro. It's probably been more than 20 years.
Yeah, it's been probably 25 years since I was a little disappointed. It was pretty Beatles heavy. A lot of Beatles stuff,
Very much so.
You know where I had more fun? Right next door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If anybody's in Cleveland, Ohio, there was I don't know if the Science Center. There was a World War II submarine.
Oh that's right. Docked
right there, and you got to take a tour of the sub, and we spent more time in the sub, I think, than we did in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it was blast. Had a big old torpedo out front, says "Do not sit on." So of course, there's three guys. We all sat on it and took our pictures on the torpedo, but had fun. So tell us a little bit about growing up in Medina, or what'd you do? What kind of kid were you? What kind of antics did you get into?
Man, I was pretty chill, to be honest, man. I was very focused on sports. For me, that was the only way I saw myself getting out of anywhere. Even though I lived in the suburbs, it wasn't, we weren't well off, you know what I mean? So for me, sports was the only way that I saw a way to get to college. So all through high school, I was pretty focused. I didn't really date. I didn't really get into stuff. I didn't drink till I was 21. I was pretty straight. I rode my bike everywhere, dude. That town, you could ride your bike all over town. It was beautiful. Free, lots of freedom as a kid between 14 and 18.
That's what I miss growing up. Like I said, our kids now, I wouldn't let them bike anywhere. Like
that's crazy.
I mean, I grew up on Venice Beach, Florida, in Venice, but we'd be, I remember 9-10 years old, we'd be biking. I mean, it'd be nothing. I don't even know. I'd love to know how much, 20 miles a day. I mean,
my bike had more miles on it than my 72 Chevelle did, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Kerr, same growing up in Pennsylvania there, just biking everywhere and feeling safe.
Some biking. We just walked everywhere. I mean, my neighborhood was I mean,
uphill both ways.
I mean, but it was everybody who we hung out. We all lived on the same block, the same street, and it was just, you'd go to one friend's house, you'd end up playing, wiffle ball. You go to the next friend's house to play football, and then it was just going from place to place. Or you go down to we used to play a Strikeout. I don't know if you ever played Strikeout as a kid. We used to love to play Strikeout. You paint the box on the wall at down at the school. There's a middle school, kindergarten, middle school right down the street from us. You just go out there, you paint a square on the wall, and you just play Strikeout.
That sounds like an old timey game, like you used to use. We used to use apples. That we got down to the old man Critchfield's farm, and because
Strikeout may have been an old.
Haven't invented the ball yet,
Strikeout's not old timey, but I think Strikeout's like one of those things, like even you hear a stickball. Stickball is like a big, inner city, New York thing to play, Philly, and Strikeout. It was always a good game to play if it was like you and one other buddy. So instead of playing baseball, you played Strikeout.
Yeah. Time. Do you guys think that times are that much more different, or we just realized that without I didn't have a lot of supervision, and I'm surprised I'm not dead. So do I remember that and be like, there's no way I'm letting my kids out? I almost died a million times. Or are things really that much worse? Do you think that, JB?
Well, I'll put it this way, man. When I was 16, my dad was like, there's the truck, there's the horse trailer. You want to take a girl out on a date and go horseback riding? See you later. There is no way in the world I would give a 16-year-old kid now a horse trailer and a truck unless they grew up on the farm with a horse trailer and a truck driving it on a regular basis. There's just no way.
Yeah,
that's a lot of trust.
That was Jessica. Grew up on a farm, had horses, had the farm trucks, the farm vehicles, just drive them over the property and everything else. What about you, Kerr? You think it really is a different place or different place in time?
Somewhat. I mean, I definitely think it is somewhat. I mean, I also grew up in a neighborhood that, it's like if you fucked off, I mean, by the time you got home, your mom knew about it, your dad knew about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of consequences.
Oh, right on.
Lots of consequences. I think there is some time. I also think that we're just so informed right now that it probably scares people even more, which I think, is a biggie. But, Joe's 18. Our son Joe's 18. And son Wyatt 16, and both bright kids, very, very trustworthy, smart. But there's sometimes when he says something or does something, I'm like, God, was I that dumb at that age? Because I don't think I was. I really don't think I was. I was dumb, but I was like, I had like a little bit more common sense.
The common sense is gone.
I just don't get it some days.
You're right. I think you nailed it, Jay. Like there is zero, like the most basic of common sense is absolutely
go to this. You just go to this and ask it what you're supposed to do. You don't have to figure it out and problem solve for your own. You ask TikTok or YouTube or somebody what you're supposed to be doing instead of, learning it from, what do they say? If you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book.
Yeah. That makes sense. Right now. It definitely does. It's these kids, they're Karen and I was talking about this yesterday. They're so weak, bro. They're so weak. I'm not, emotionally, but physically, like is it sitting there playing video? Like they can't lift anything. They can't, like the littlest chore and they get wore out. It's just,
like your wife. You asked Jessica, like, what did she do all day while she was working on the farm? She was shoveling poo, throwing hay bales up at freaking crack of dawn, splitting wood, like that's like, I never really appreciated what living on the farm did for me until I got to college. And my track coach was like, dude, you need to be in the weight room. I'm like, I don't need to lift no weights. He's like, you need to be in the weight room. I'm like, leave me alone. Cause I was doing that stuff naturally just on the farm. I was building that muscle normally every day.
Yeah, and
building being in the weight room
and building responsibility, because even if you didn't want to do it, you did the job to the best that you can. So you don't get your ass beat, for half-assing something. And that's it's a lot of kids. Not
there's no consequences. There's no I was telling Kevin, I said, what did I say to you? When we were at that vintage clothing thing or something, I was just like, oh my God, I've never seen so many weaker, kind of this milky white, almost translucent skin. And I said, that it was just, I had to get out of there. We're growing up. I mean, when I was growing up, there was consequences. It was, if you were a dork, you got your ass beat. Now it's just you have some strong words and a video and a camera to record someone who's yelling at you. It's like, man.
Yeah, that's why I don't talk to the kids at work anymore. I don't talk to anybody at work. I mind my own business most of the time until they piss me off and I freak out on them. But it's one of those things. They show up 2-3 hours late, not even an excuse. They just pull in, start working, whatever. They don't want to come in. They just don't come in, but there's I always tell the boss, there's no consequences to their actions. They're never written up. They're never fired. There's just, it's
no
their
accountability.
whole life. No accountability, but it's their whole lives. That's what they expect, and then we expect these people to be leaders and pillars of our community someday. But, all right, we're gonna move on. What,
I was gonna say we could get off on one. We could get on one on that one, bro.
The grumpy old men session is now.
Yeah. I'll throw it. Shaking our fist at the kids. So, who or what got you into cigar smoking?
Oh man, that's kind of a funny story. So when I was graduating high school, me and 5 of my buddies, there was a 5th one that technically was a year younger than us that didn't graduate, but we went to Sam's Club and started selling candy from the fundraiser boxes at school. And then my other buddy was selling soda. So we just sold pop and candy for probably 4 or 5 months, saved up a ton of money, paid for us to go down to a trip to Myrtle Beach as a senior trip after we graduated. So we drove down to Myrtle Beach, and there's a place called the Tinderbox. It's actually a chain. You probably have them down in Florida, Kevin.
I don't, not down this far.
Not the Tinderbox?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just one day, what do we do? We're like, let's go get some cigars. So we walked into the Tinderbox, bought some cigars, went back to the house, smoked them on the beach, and the rest is history, man. I kind of picked it up from there.
Man,
they're all over.
First cigar was a Rocky Patel vintage 1990. That was actually Brad and his dad's first real cigars as well.
I tell you, that cigar comes up. Like I said, mine I think was it was either I want to say it was the 92, but it may have been the 90.
Okay.
But yeah, that's everybody Rocky Patel 1990, 92, and then I went 5 years and never smoked anything Rocky Patel because it just outgrew my profile. And then I was somewhere and I'm like, oh, there's a 92. It brought me back and I smoked it. It's a great cigar. It's still a good cigar.
It's a very good cigar.
I like that cigar, and it's but yeah, brought me back. But yeah, you don't see kids out there. Let's go get a cigar. Let's go get a cigar. They're like, no.
Yeah. That's what blows my mind about the FDA's obsession with kids coming into cigar shops. They don't. If they do, they were sent by the FDA.
Well, that's it. Like you should tell the FDA, where were you 20 years ago? That's when the kids were coming in. Not kids, but 17,
Go sit in front of the vape shops and leave me alone.
Well, they're not obsessed with cigars. The cigars just,
it's getting looped into the junk.
It's collateral damage. It's collateral damage because tobacco of what they're really going after, which is sad because again, I think that there lacks common sense.
It is, and then what doesn't make sense is like vape. We know that's bad for you. That's bad, and those are chemicals. That's what the FDA has the ability outright to just ban. They have that ability to do that, and they don't because they look at it's at the beginning I remember it was people were stopped smoking. So is it worse for you than smoking? But then it came. Then they did that study a couple years ago that 60% of all new kids that were vaping had never even smoked a cigarette. They just got into vaping. Mm-hmm. And I think it's even higher now. Like the amount of kids 16 to 19 or something that vape, it's a crazy high number that had never even smoked a cigarette.
That's because they were sold on the fact that they were better, that they were I won't say healthy, I'll use the term, but they were not as bad as or as dangerous as cigarettes. And I think when you learn that, and that's when you grow up in that age group, and it's like that's vaping is cool. You know, we grew up smoking cigarettes and such were cool because that's what you seen your parents and their relatives smoking cigarettes. But now it's vaping, and it's sold as and promoted as a healthier alternative because it's not tobacco. You're not breathing in smoke.
Think of how much money that industry is making without ads. There's not even ads on TV telling you to go smoke those things.
And there never was, you know, like it's never been a thing. Like it's never been ads on TV, your radio or anything else. And look how big it is, you know? And I used to have a coworker, he's still a coworker. He doesn't vape anymore, but when he just got into that, trying to quit smoking, he goes, this is healthy, man. And I go, it's not healthy. And he took out the bottle and he goes, look, it's got an ISO certification. I go, do you even know what that means? I'm like, Mike Raj can get an ISO certification, you know, depending on what I want to get it certified in. I go, you're burning oil that smells like maple syrup into your lungs, into your lungs. And you think that it's healthy because it's got an ISO certification on it.
Steam.
Maple syrup. Yeah. This sounds like the Canadian friend you just had visit.
Yeah. So I don't know, you know, but yeah, that's a whole nother tangent as well. We could be going on a 9-hour show if we just let it go. So now, how'd you move out of Ohio and get to Arizona? Let's hear that.
And that's actually kind of a crazy story. So I had I went to Heidelberg University for 2 years, met my wife, and then moved back home to go to Wright State and rented my childhood home that I grew up in, right in the ghetto of Springfield from my dad. And I was working at Best Buy at the time and was doing really, really well. And eventually, me and my wife both applied for different jobs just to try to get to a better place. And I had gotten a job at Apple up in Akron, Ohio, and she had just gotten a job out here in Phoenix, in Tempe, working for an insurance company. And we both came home the same day, and we'd been together for about 5 years at this point, 4 years. And she was like, I'm moving to Phoenix. And I was like, what? She's like, you can come or not come. And I was like, I just got this job at Apple. We can go live in Cleveland for a couple years, save up a ton of money, then move to Phoenix. And she was like, nah, I want to go now. So she actually just packed up her stuff and left like a week later and moved out here to Phoenix. And then I packed up my stuff and moved to Cleveland and started my job at Apple. And it was one of those situations where I was like, is this just one of those clean breaks where we just kind of call it off and go about our business? But she pursued me pretty heavily even after the fact. And obviously I ended up out here.
So how did, so I know of a story about you stalking her in a tree or something, but how exactly did you guys meet? And then I don't know the whole tree story. So either. So how'd you guys meet?
Oh man. So the first time we met twice before I started going into the tree. So the first time we met was before Christmas break. The softball team was courting a couple girls that were there for overnights, like to come to school there. And they were throwing this like ugly sweater Christmas party. And I was really good friends with the guys in the cross country team who are really good friends with a couple of the girls in the softball team. So we're upstairs in the girls' dorms, just kind of hanging out, talking to them. And they're watching like the stupidest YouTube videos. And my wife, Lauren, had this white sweater on and this ugly red lipstick and was watching the most annoying stuff on YouTube. And I told my roommate, Nate, I was like, that chick's annoying. Fast forward a couple weeks later, she shows up in my room with a bottle of Mountain Dew and some Kamchatka and was like just hanging out, drinking with us, having a good time. And then fast forward a couple weeks later, I started eating my lunch in the tree. And finally she was like, all right, creep in the tree, take me out on a date. So eventually took her out on a date, went to Chipotle, and she ate 2 burritos.
Oh, that's pretty ballsy right there for first date. You know, two burritos at
2 burritos. I was like, I gotta marry this woman. She just pounded 2 burritos. I barely ate one.
God. Yeah, Chipotle, my daughter's favorite place to eat. one of her favorite places to eat, but does not, and knows it just gives her diarrhea. But I'm the same way. I am the same way. It doesn't make any difference what I eat, knowing the outcome. If it's delicious, I'm just going to keep
it. You're the Taco Bell, right?
I like good taco. We got a shitty Taco Bell near us. God, it's like the world's worst Taco Bell, but yeah, I'm a taco Bell. It's quick, easy, but I don't eat fast food that much anymore. It's so damn expensive.
It is.
It's insane. Remember we used to go to Taco Bell for $20 and you'd get like I don't know 30 burritos.
Family meal.
A whole family meal. Now, like I said, I went there, I'll get like 2 meals for me and my daughter because nobody else in the house will eat Taco Bell. It's like $28. And I'm like, get the hell out of here.
This is why In-N-Out is so popular out here. This is why In-N-Out is so popular. 3 of us ate dinner for less than $22 the other day. 3 of us. That's drinks, burger, fries.
Yeah, when I was out there, to see you guys, and it was the food. I mean, it was good. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was like $8 for a value, and I'm like, that's the way it should be. Why is everything $15 now? So
that's why we have cookout here. That's why you
have what?
We have a cookout. It's called cookout.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic. You can get a cookout platter. It's a burger, fries, and you get 2 sides like hush puppies and coleslaw, and it's like $6.
Yeah. That's why food trucks. Well, at one time food trucks were really popular, but now the food trucks have gotten all bougie.
It's horribly bougie. It's ridiculous.
And then now those prices have skyrocketed.
I know
as well. So you come out to what gets you out to Arizona? Your wife comes out to Arizona. What finally gets you out here?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I came out in October to visit for like 4 or 5 days. It rained all 4 days I was here. I was like, really? You moved out of Ohio to move back to the rain? And she was like, it's never like this.
Yeah. I've heard that before. Yeah.
But I walked into the Apple store here in Scottsdale and I met a gentleman and we talked for probably a good 45 minutes or so. And I had actually helped roll out a couple programs that went corporate wide within Apple retail. And me and like a whole team of guys at my other store created this process that helped basically made it so we didn't have to take customer credit cards all the way back to the back to send stuff out to repair. We could do it out at the counter. And that conversation kind of helped me get a foot in the door to apply for a position that they had open up less than like 3 months later. And the interview went great. And they laterally moved me over to the Scottsdale quarter store here in Scottsdale.
Oh, right.
Which is not, man, when that happens at Apple, people hate you. It was very, very hard for me, both being hired at Apple straight in and being moved into a lateral position because there's so many people in store that are waiting for those positions, sometimes for years. So I actually had a pretty hard time acclimating when I first got here.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, because we get that, at Tires Plus, Firestone, we get technicians and, everything else that, they transfer, but it's just like, hey, it's a transfer. Yeah. I mean, it's, it is what it is. You lost that position, so it's nothing to be butthurt about, it's not like they were hiring someone off the street, but that's see, once again, that's Apple people.
It's that corporate ladder stuff, man.
Yeah. No, it's just Apple. Android, the Android store, that would not have treated you like that at all. They would have opened.
We're not going to saddle up that horse today either, Kevin. Come on.
You're no longer an Apple genius. You've lost your credentialing.
Yeah.
That's actually what I did for like 6 years, 5 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was a genius with Apple for like 5 years.
Oh, right on. So, and then are you still with Apple devices, or you made the switch over?
Yeah. No, I still use them personally. Yeah.
Okay.
This works better for me.
Yeah. It works.
We're transition to the grumpy Kevin.
I know. Shaking the fist about the Android Apple debate, but so you move out. So let's, before we get into like your current role, what's a couple things that So I was just recently out there. And I went to this piece of crap thing called hole in the wall rock. TripAdvisor. Never listen to TripAdvisor. You know, I'm looking through this hole. Like, you can look through this hole and you can see the whole city of Scottsdale through the hole, but you couldn't get a picture of it because there's 900 people there trying to take a photo of this stupid hole in this rock.
You can see everything.
It's a hole. So
there's probably like 30 more of those holes all over Phoenix too.
Oh yeah. So what are some cool things about if people are going to come out to Phoenix, Scottsdale area? What are some cool things to do?
Oh man, the scenery for one. I mean, I've been out here 7 years. I still haven't even seen the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean?
Like 3 hours away. Yeah,
it is a little further than that, but
yeah.
No. But yeah, no, I haven't been to the Grand Canyon. Sedona's gorgeous. I mean, the fact that you can be down here in the desert and travel 2.5 hours, hour and a half to 2.5 hours north and be 5,000 to 6,000 feet elevation just like that and get a complete change of scenery is really, really cool. And believe it or not, there's a ton of water out here. So like there's tons of places to fish, tons of places to get into like night up in the rivers, up in the water when it's hot out in the summertime. Lots of outdoor stuff here because it's like Florida, man. It's nice all the time. So you take advantage of it when you can until summer hits and it's 100 nuclear out.
The high desert?
Do what?
The high desert?
The high desert? Yeah, that's like up around like between like Winslow and like Flagstaff. You get up there, man. It's just
that's where Vic is from. The high desert.
Yeah, high desert man. Yeah, I got one of his hats. One of his hats. But the one thing. Somewhere.
Yeah, well, the one thing when I was texting our group chat, Kerr and his wife and Jessica, you know, when I was out there, and it was like the only downfall about Arizona, everything is a cactus. If you want to, and I'm like, if you want to lean against a pole, that pole's a cactus. You want to sit on that bench is a cactus. You want to sit on that chair is a cactus. You got to watch out. Everything is a cactus. In Arizona. That's what I found completely strange, but it was beautiful. I tell you, you know, what's that?
They have the jumping cactus too. When you're hiking, if you get too close to it, it just kind of like magically jumps into your arm. Oh yeah, they call them jumping cactus. They like they'll attach themselves to you really quick. It's kind of weird.
You can get attacked by a cactus.
Kinda, yeah. It's weird.
That's where I want to live.
Kevin, I wish I would have heard the story about you getting.
I know.
That would have been worth it.
But I'll tell you what, Jessica and I, we haven't been all over the country, but we travel quite a bit. And everywhere she goes, she's like, oh, we couldn't you see us living here? I'm like, no. Couldn't you see us living here? No. Here, no. It's always no. I came back and she goes, how was it? And I go, I could see me living there. And she's like, what? And she's like, you've never said that about anywhere. And I go, Arizona was beautiful. I mean,
even after seeing just the hole?
Just a hole?
Yeah, even after seeing the hole. But I saw everything else around the hole, and it was that could be a sound bite. I saw the hole and then everything around it. It was so
that was the selling point, not the hole. It was around the hole.
Yeah, that's it. But it's beautiful out there, absolutely beautiful. And I was joking with a couple of the guys at the shop when I was there because I expected to see more. Because according to Brad, scorpions are everywhere, and I'm like, I haven't seen a single scorpion. You guys seen the guy? One guy's like, been here 5 years. I haven't seen a scorpion yet. And I'm like, the way Brad made it sound like there's damn scorpions everywhere. And I haven't
seen a snake. 7 years. Haven't seen a snake.
Yeah. See, there you go. You know, so give us a couple of things you love about Phoenix or Arizona, and a couple of things you hate, like you despise about it.
I love the weather. I hate that it's really hard to find culture here, and when there is culture, it's in pockets, right? If you go to Cleveland, the culture in Cleveland's insane. I mean, you've got the Greek church, you've got the Italian. I mean, you've literally got all of it right there. Phoenix is such a mix mosh of so many different people moving in here. It's very spread out, and sometimes it just doesn't feel as friendly, especially somebody coming from the Midwest. So it's like a mix of, like, not quite Midwest, but it's like a mix of like East Coast and West Coast, warm and cold mixed with a little bit of Midwest sprinkled in there. It's kind of strange. I love the opportunity here. I mean, if you can't make it here in Phoenix and find something successful, you're probably not doing something right. There's an insane amount of opportunities here. It's absolutely insane, the opportunity here. The cost of living is the other thing I hate. It's more expensive here than it should be. I mean, just for example, I built my house in 2017 for 280. House is worth like 350. It ain't worth 350.
Yeah.
They're pricing people out of homes here pretty bad.
Same with me. They value mine like at, I don't know, 325. I'm like, you out of your mind. like $1.15.
Well, maybe now you got the nice humidor in there.
Well, yeah, now that added, maybe it's worth 125, realistically, but yeah, I've been hearing that more on the Phoenix Scottsdale area. Everybody retiring there, everybody coming in. Price, it's kind of like the way Florida is now. That's where everybody wants to retire, and
water's going to be a big problem.
You guys are gonna have a water issue in a few years. You're having a water issue now. Yeah, it's but all
if the plants, all these chip manufacturing plants use a million gallons a day, and it can't be filtered water. It has to be natural water. So you're talking 5 million a day coming into Phoenix just to do these chip plants.
Oh yeah, it's and then because I know you guys are getting a lot of your water from the Colorado River, that's down, and they're and I know we still got a lot of farmers that are using it, and the Army Corps of Engineers they stepped at last year and said, if you guys don't get this under control yourselves, and we have to step in, like we just turn the faucet off, like we're gonna protect the Colorado River, so it's and we don't care about the electricity from the dam. We don't care about anything else. We got to protect, the river. And then, but yeah, it was I didn't realize that like 1 million gallons a day. That's insane. It's an insane amount of
not to mention all the houses and expansion that's going in. It's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, because all those plants bringing people in. They got places to live, places to stay, eat, hotels. Everything that comes around industry.
Yep, big problem.
So you're working at Apple, and now you're working at Zeal Cigars. Let's go through that transition.
Yeah. So was working at Apple, and that was weird. That was a really weird noise. So I was working at Apple, and there's weird things happen out here. You got to be aware of these. This area is kind of strange. So I was working at Apple, and COVID happened, right? So Apple had shut down all the stores for the better part of about 8 months, probably. My store was shut down. So the first 3 to 4 months that I was not in the store, I couldn't work from home. So a lot of people had to get computers sent to them, and they worked from home, Apple Care over the phone, whether it was phone or chat. I couldn't do that because my wife already worked from home. So it was kind of a problem. So I would take I would be on the golf course for the first 2 to 3 months, taking my calls and doing all my work from golf courses and stuff like that, smoking cigars. So I would pass the shop every so often, going to a couple other places that I would go to for food and stuff. And Brad had this yellow and red now open sign hanging on the door. And I was like, dang, there's a cigar shop open during COVID. And I'd been ordering from CI for a while. And, that's how I was getting my sticks for golf. And I walked in the door, and I pulled in one day, walked in the door, and this big guy stands up and goes, "Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing?" And I was like, "What's up, bro?" And he was like, "What do you like to smoke?" And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I've just been buying stuff off CI. I really like Christoph's. I used to smoke this barber pole called an Exquisito or something like that. And he's like, I got stuff better than that. Follow me. Walks me back to the second humidor and starts running me through all the ZHBs and all the house brands, and bought a few, went home, smoked them, came back. He kept asking me what I thought of them. We kept talking about them, kind of started developing a friendship. And then there was one day, and Carrie's in here. She might be able to remember this. There was one day, probably about 2 or 3 months had gone by that I'd been coming in. And Brad was sitting up front working on a label for a cigar. And I walk in the door, and he goes, "Dude, you got to try this." Literally cuts one, shoves it in my mouth, and lights it in my mouth. Second I walked in the door, it was insane. And he's like, "Dude, smoke this." And Carrie's standing right here over the counter, right over my shoulder pretty much. And Brad's working on the computer here, and he goes, "Tell me what you're getting." And I'm like, "Dang, you're putting me on the spot here." So I was smoking it, and I was like, "This tastes like a French toast stick, like from Burger King, but without the maple syrup." And he was like, "What? French toast stick?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And he goes, looks at Carrie and starts laughing. And I'm out of the loop, right? I don't know what's going on. Grabs the computer, turns his screen towards me, and the label he was working on for that cigar was French toast stick.
Really? That is.
Yeah. That cigar later became the Fool's Gold. We changed the name, but it ended up becoming the Fool's Gold later on. And that's kind of how he decided that I had a palate and decided to tell me that I had a palate, because I didn't know what the heck that meant, right? And how do you know you have a cigar palate unless somebody tells you, right? Like,
oh yeah, I went years without knowing, you know, like,
smoke them.
You smoke them to smoke them, and you order them from.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, me, it was from Thompson back in the day. You just ordered them just to order whatever that 25 cigar deal, like
the
like
sampler, the Po' Boy sampler.
Yeah, it was like the five CDs for a penny. It was 20
Columbia
cigars
House.
for a dollar, and it was whatever, and you didn't know any better, so after that you coming in more often, smoking more cigars.
Yep. Yeah, I was coming in pretty frequently, actually, probably once or twice a week. And one day I came in and I was like, "Hey, do you need somebody to like rep your brand and sell your house brands to other like cigar shops in the area?" And he just started laughing at me again. And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, I don't do that." And I'm like, "Okay, so what do you mean?" And he was like, "Nah, dude, but I might be able to use somebody around here part-time." And I was like, "Okay." And then kind of just festered from there, man. He was like, hired me part-time. The first 6 months, I never made an appearance on a video. I worked here for probably about 6 or 7 months before I ever was on a video. And the first month, all I did was he was saving all these cigar boxes for the soap company that he was going to do.
I saw those boxes, bro.
My first 2 months on the job was organizing and sorting all those boxes. That's all I did for like the first month, was sit up there, smoke cigars, and sort those boxes.
God, please tell me you're going to get rid of those boxes, right? Or
I don't
sell
want to
them
talk about it yet.
God, that was.
We got some ideas for that, actually.
There's so many. I looked up at that mezzanine. I go, good God, is that an insane amount of cigar boxes? So that'd make
Allegedly.
like a million lamps. So but I love it. So he's working on that soap idea all the way back then.
Oh yeah,
because that took a while to launch. Then that was yeah.
There was a few other people involved, and when you get a lot of people involved in stuff, it just sometimes takes a minute to get things rolling. Everybody's got to get on the same page, and sometimes that. Kevin, you mind your business about those boxes.
Yeah. So yeah,
there's another Kevin in here.
But yeah, it's but yeah, when you especially start business with friends and there's more than 2 or 3 people, and then I know what you mean. You get money involved, and you get conflicting, creativity.
When everybody else ran their own business, right? So you're trying to work in another business on top of everybody else running a business. So it just took some time to get things rolling.
Oh yeah. So what was that? What was the first video? I don't remember. I remember seeing you come on, because you came after Billy Saturday, correct?
Yeah. So actually Billy Saturday came with Brad from TNT. So when Brad started Zeal Cigars, Billy was one of the guys that actually came with him.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't.
Yeah, Billy's an OG, man. Yeah.
Oh, OG. What is he, like 20 years old? Billy? When I met him?
I think he's I think we're both like 33, 34. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like he looks young as hell, like an OG. But no, I didn't know that. So
yep.
So what was the first video you did?
I don't really remember, actually. I remember the second one more than the first one, because I did something kind of stupid and I was like, man, that was stupid, and it sounded stupid and it looked stupid. It was like the second time on video. Those videos actually got taken down when YouTube removed our other channel.
Was it the one you put the cigar in your mouth backwards?
Nah, that one's somewhere. That one's still up, unfortunately, for my sake. That exists somewhere still. I think somebody even has a picture of it, like it zoomed in on me, and he sent it to me the other day. I don't remember who it was, but he was like, I think it was Jay. He's down at Calibra Cigars in Mesa. He sent that to me the other day and was like, hey, remember this? And I'm just like,
I tell you, I've done it, I've done it multiple times, just not paying attention, and done it, and that's brutal. That is a taste that you just can't get out of your mouth.
There's no better feeling though when you're getting ready to do it and you catch yourself from doing it. You're like, oh,
yeah,
because that would have been horrible.
Yeah, I did that, and then I think once on camera I lit a lighter upside down and it burnt the palm of my hand. And I remember my buddy Craig Vanderslice was at PCA and I'm talking to these guys and I go, hey, tell them they ought to do something with a lighter because you can light it upside down, and it burnt my hand. And he goes up there and they go, no, you can't do that. There has to be a child lock on it. It's not, lighters are not allowed to work upside down, if they're that style. And Craig's like, Kevin burnt his hand. They're like, oh my God. So it was a flaw that was never caught in a few of their lighters, and they were lighting upside down. And it was funny because I was just at PCA this year and someone else had a new lighter that was out similar. I held it upside down and I lit it, and I go, hey, these are supposed to have a kids thing on there so they can't light upside down. They're like, wait, what? Like, how's nobody knowing this? So
quality control across the board on any company is
it is because it all starts with that company quality. That company quality that makes garbage fucking products. So, but whatever, it is.
Speaking of garbage, man, that's what I'm smoking. Yeah. Just straight trash right now.
That is some trash. I got the I got coming out for you. I got our new dumpster ashtray. It's shaped like a dumpster with the lids on it,
bro. Yes.
So I've got a
little Oscar the Grouch pops out. Oh, that's sick. That's sick, Kevin. That's dope.
And then the little black piece is the cigar rest. It's actually removable. So in case you ever burn it in the future or melt it, I can just sell you another one for like $1, and you can replace the little insert.
That's sick, bro. That's a good idea. I like that a lot.
Oh, thanks, man.
Not that you need my approval, but I like it.
Carrie, you're on mute. You're on mute there. Okay, but yeah. So I'll have one. I'll have one coming out your way pretty soon. So and that was and I remember Brad calling me one day about when that channel got taken down, because they hit me too. They took down, I don't know, hundreds of videos, off my site. But luckily I didn't get the channel banned. All the big channels were getting knocked off. Brian Glenn, your guys' other channel, got knocked off, and it sucks. Did Brad did he ever save those videos? Did he have them, or they lost?
Some of them. I'm still going through a lot of that. That's time. It'll be time. Time to go through it.
So you know about Google Takeout, right?
Yeah. Vida actually asked me if you had mentioned that to me and forwarded that to me. So absolutely. Yeah. We're good.
So it makes it easy. You can download them in 50 gigabyte files, and they'll send them all to you, so you can save them on your computer. So luckily I was able to recover almost all of them. I found out about it after they started taking them down, and I was trying to get them getting them off the site as fast as they were taking them down. But that just sucks. So what's been some of the most memorial videos, like the ones that you just have fun? 'Cause I know, I'm a content creator. I know a lot of it's work. A lot of it's just work, and sometimes you dread it, but then you just have fun sometimes. It's like, damn, we should do more of these. What's been some of your funnest ones?
Oh man. So with Brad, that dude is like bad luck when you go out doing anything. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about his truck and tires popping anytime he goes off road. He just always blows a tire. And somebody asked a question. I'm trying to find the cigar. So, dude, going off on the adventures where we went up to we smoked Christophs, and we went up to the Apache Death Caves up in Two Guns, Arizona, which is up in the high desert. And man, when we would just go on those adventures, Man, there was just something that was so cool about that and different, right? Like that's because it took you out of the business life. It took us out of the mindset of being in the shop and making videos, and it just put us out into the world as a couple dudes just hanging out and just happened to talk about cigars while we were doing it. Over the last couple of years, just the way things got busy and just how much we needed to be here, that was something that we weren't able to do as much. And I would have loved to have done some more of those kind of videos for sure. Those are always fun.
Oh, so that's who that is. Discount Tire Kevin. I met him.
Yeah, that's
yeah, because I'm Tires Plus Kevin, and this is Discount Tire Kevin. Works for the second largest tire company, not the first. I don't care what Brad says, the second largest. So, but whatever. We used to get so mad when I used to say that, and it was hilarious. But yeah, so those are some of my favorite videos too. Just being out of the shop. And those are some of my favorites that when we're away from the lounge and just doing those. So those are just fun.
I got to tell you a couple that are fun too. One is like, okay, so sometimes we would do videos where somebody would bring us like a cigar and a bourbon to pair so that we wouldn't know what the pairing was going to be. And there's a guy that comes into the shop. His name's Carl. Very good friend of the shop. He actually moved from Boca Raton, Florida. You might have met him when you were here.
Oh, yeah. He gave me a cigar. Super nice guy.
Yeah. So Carl brought in a smattering of Padrones and took all the labels off of them. Everything from a 50th anniversary all the way down to, their bottom line, right? And he just laid them out on the table. Only he knew what they were. And he's like, each of you grab a cigar. I think I grabbed the 50th anniversary and then Brad grabbed like a 26th or something like that. And but the bourbon was really strong. So we finished the cigar, finished the bourbon, and then Brad lit up a 50th anniversary after that at his desk while he was editing the video. Fast forward an hour later, Brad's mentor, Travis, walks through the door, goes all the way to the back, and Brad's passed out at his desk like this, just sawing logs. And Travis is like, yo, you okay, bro? And he's like, what happened? He was just zonked. So when we would do videos where Brad would drink just a little too much on the videos and just get a little bit warm the rest of the day, those were always interesting.
Oh my God. I know. I've seen those videos and it's just like, man.
He's been on a couple of these calls after that too.
Yeah. Some of those videos, sip it, it may look like a sip, but after 30 sips, 40 sips, they add up for sure. But,
when he went on the diet, the keto diet, or he was on the all meat diet where he was just eating carnivore, that stuff hit him like a freight train then. So he couldn't have as much as he was drinking before. So he would a little too much. Oh shit.
Yeah. out cold, So did Brad, because Brad's known for having probably one of the best palates I know. I mean, that guy can taste everything. Did he, were the things that he tried to teach you to help you like develop your palate even more to try and bring it out?
Man, that's a really good question. Man, anybody out there that's got a doubt, I've seen this man literally smoke a cigar he's never smoked before, look right at the manufacturer and tell him exactly what's in the blend. You've got a Dominican binder, Nicaraguan filler, Nicaraguan wrapper, and look him dead square in the eye and the manufacturer be like, yep. What's weird about that though, Kevin, is he always told me that I had a better palate than him, right? So it was weird. That's why like the more that things unfold after the fact, it's kind of almost weird in a way that like I feel set up.
Yeah.
Even down to his last podcast, man. Like, I think he was instilling that confidence in me about me having a palate so that I would believe it in myself, later on down the road. So we would have a lot of conversations. There were some arguments too, where we wouldn't taste certain things. Like he never tasted leather in a cigar. And I'm like, you don't taste boot polish? And he's like, no, I don't taste boot polish. But yeah, no, nothing 100% really where we like sat down. We would have conversations around like, especially after COVID, dude, I couldn't taste anything. The second time I got COVID, I was like, dude, I can't do my job. He's like, you know what that cigar tastes like? Just tell him what it tastes like. I'm like, Brad, I can't taste this cigar.
Oh my God. That was that's awesome. But What were the what you guys used to argue about the most? I mean, because everybody argues. What didn't we see on the camera? Like what
Stock
count?
Oh
yeah.
Brad just got so excited when new stuff would come in. He couldn't wait to give it out to me. He couldn't wait for people to know that it was available, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that's an inventory shipping stocking nightmare for me, because I'm like, I don't have these products yet and people want them. Why did you put them up? And then we get them like 2 days later because UPS was late on the delivery. And then I got to call people and I'm like, hey, somebody got a little too excited and wanted to get these to you faster than he could. That was probably one of the things we would argue about a lot. I'd be like, dude, quit putting those in stock. They're not here yet. He's like, they'll be here tomorrow. I'm like, quit putting them in stock. They're not here yet.
Oh my God. I know he gets so excited Always. Over, it was like a little child sometimes, he just call me up out of the blue at work and then just like, bro, this new cigar we got in. I gotta send you some. I'm gonna send you some. He goes, we don't have them yet. But that makes sense now that you say that. So I'm gonna send you. We don't have them yet. It's like, don't tell me about them then. So, oh my God. We'll morph into kind of we're coming up on an hour. I know you've got some things to do tonight, so we don't want to keep you super long. We'll get into.
We're still within plenty of time, brother. No stress.
He was like the elf with his he was just a giant kid. So let's talk about the business Zeal Cigars. What's going on now? So when I was there, it was obvious that the family, the Reith family, you're just you're JB Reith. You're just part of the family.
I'm adopted, whether I like it or not. Yes,
whether you like it or not. What was there like a defining moment when you knew like you were part of the family? Like was there just a moment at work or something someone said or something someone did and it's like these people really do care about me?
Man, that's tough, man. Wow. With Brad, that's the crazy thing, man. You feel that right away. And I think that's why he had such a huge impact on people that watched one video, met him one time. There's a mom that comes in here who never met him, but just because of the experience that her son had in here coming twice, she was in here, just tears in her eyes, giving me hugs, every time she comes in and sees me. The guy, I like to make the joke that some people have infectious laughs, some people have infectious smiles. That dude was just straight infectious. It didn't take much for that dude to rub off on you. But I think for me, without overstepping, I think Brad had kind of a spot here on his chest that hadn't really been healed. And I think when him, his family, and his sister Carrie specifically all sat me down separately and said, I don't think you realize how important you are to Brad in his life. That was probably when I started to realize it.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about with that one, and so that was still pretty fresh, when you came on, when you came on board, that whole deal and that whole thing. So yeah, it was a rough time. Who's more intimidating, Len the Marine, Vita, or Kerry? Like who's the one you don't cross?
That's a good question because Vita's like a silent gangster. She's like the one that like you like say something to and she's like, okay, I'll talk to you later. And you're like, what does that mean? She's gonna break my legs? She's gonna come, like, what's gonna happen? Lynn, you know what you're getting. He don't hide nothing. You know exactly what you're getting from the Devil Doc. But Carrie will murder you. You mess with the family, Carrie will strangle you. But she's also very nice and caring. So I would say Vita and Kerry are pretty scary. I wouldn't mess with either one of them because both of them will probably tear somebody's head off for the family.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I remember when Vita was ready to go home the night that I was hanging out there, and you tell Len wasn't ready to go home. He wanted to hang out with all the guys, and she's like, okay, she's like said something like, that's fine. I'm gonna wait in the car. And then it was like a minute later, he's looking around. He's like, "Boy, I gotta get out of here." And I'm like,
Yes, I gotta go.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. No, that's fine. Just you can hang out here all night. I'm just gonna go wait in the car. And it's just like, yeah.
But Vita's 100. So we used to have a cigar called the Cherished Matriarch. I'm trying to get it back, and that cigar was 100% an homage to Brad's mother. She is the matriarch of the family, 100%.
Oh yeah,
and you know, it's kind of cool. You know, you don't really see a lot of that family structure anymore, where people like my grandparents, my mom and papa, like they have the utmost respect from everybody in our family, and they always will. And you can kind of see that with Lynn and Vida too, with the family, and even with people that aren't in the family, like they get that respect and they give it. And I think that shows a lot.
Oh yeah, you know, you definitely tell. I mean, it's a very loving, very caring family. You know, it's a tight family. So I love all of them. Tell me about the Monday, the Monday after the service. You got to open up the shop. And did you feel a lot of pressure internally or externally? You know, it's like this is on me now, you know, and I know you have a great support system, you know, there. I mean, the whole family's not going to let you, not that you're going to fail, but they're not going to let you fail. But was there pressure?
Yeah, man, of course there's pressure, right? Like that was an absolute amazing human being, and is an amazing human being, and has a legacy of videos and podcasts that are going to continue to change and touch people for a very long time. Yeah, man. There is a so it's kind of weird, right? So like the first week, so after it happened, I was actually here the very next day. Shop was open, was operating, people were here. And for me, I think it was more, there was a sense of duty, right? And if you watch Brad's podcast on that, which I haven't went back and watched, I'm almost positive he talks about like, there's a time where you got to step up and you got to do what you got to do for that time. So I would say that first half week and then that Monday, I was just in go mode, man. My only mindset was, what do I need to do to make sure that the business is taken care of? Because the family has things they need to worry about. I can take care of this. This is the burden that I can bear for the family. That's, yeah, man, it's there. It hit me more this week and last week because it started getting quiet. You know, everybody else's lives start going back to normal, and then it's just me. And then this is another thing too, right? Like I had a mentor, a brother, a coworker, a pastor, and an amazing human being at my finger's length anytime I needed it. So like when I have things that go on at home and I turn to look for that, it's not there. So yeah, man, it's hard. There's definitely some pressure, but luckily, like you said, with Carrie, with the family, with the brotherhood that Brad has built, man, if I even remotely start to fall down, there's 10 people pulling me by my shirt, picking me up, saying, let's do this. And you got to see that, Kevin, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing talking to all of Brad's friends, guys that I'd only heard about, you know, that Brad would talk about all the time. You guys still doing the Friday night things? Is that still going on?
Yep. They were here last Friday, actually. Yep.
Oh, right on. I love it. Glad to see that. Hopefully that keeps going forever. So in the time that has, you know, like you said, it's, you know, people's lives go back to normal, things, you know, are changing, you know, the business has to run. Were there any challenges that you've come across so far that you kind of weren't expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, one thing is just being motivated every day. I think we take for granted those people that are just such bright lights in our lives that even if there was a day I didn't feel motivated, the second that dude walked through the freaking door with a smile on his face going, yo, what's up today, JB? Your day changed immediately. So now you got to find a way to kind of self-motivate without that.
Yeah, and like I said, I bring it up again. Like he said, I'd be having a miserable day at work doing something, be in the middle of a job that was kicking my ass, and he'd call, we'd talk for 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, I gotta get back to work, and you feel motivated. Something about the, I don't know. It wasn't the words he spoke, it wasn't
He just had to look at you and smile, bro.
It was, it's that connection that just spans time and space. You just felt it, and that was
that was probably something that me and Brad would argue about a little bit. Is Brad wasn't a big energy person, right? I'm a huge energy person. I feel, I feed, I live and thrive and die off of energy, right? So if I get really bad energy that comes in, that affects me a lot. Brad wasn't like that. Brad just had joy for Jesus, right? So his only thing was joy most of the time, even when he was frustrated, right? So like, that's probably one of the biggest lessons I learned from Brad is like, dude, you can have joy all the time if you want it.
Well, he was a big guy. The energy couldn't penetrate him. You're a smaller guy
around everybody else.
That's it. You're a smaller guy. It gets to your soul a lot faster than Brad. It just couldn't make its way through the bigness that is him. Any changes to Zeal Cigars on like as in brands that you're going to carry? Going into the future, things that you kind of want to do now that. That you're running the place, and some brands that like Brad be like, no, man, we're not bringing that in. I don't like that guy. I used to I don't like that guy. We're not bringing his cigars in.
Nah, luckily me and him had similar palates, so there weren't a lot of cigar companies or brands or even house brands that we wanted to bring in that we both didn't really agree on. There was a couple. There was one called the Dead Man's Hand that we thought about a lot. He swore up and down it was going to be better than our Spice Cream, which is the best-selling cigar that we have. And it wasn't. It just wasn't. And we argued about it and fought about it for a while, But to answer your question, yes and no. No, there's not going to be much that's going to change, man. I mean, I've luckily been able to spend 4 to 5 years with Brad and see what his vision was for the business, his family's vision, they all kind of we all have the same mindset on what this business is here for and what we're here for. And I don't think there's going to be a lot that changes that way. It's definitely going to be different. There will be some house brands that'll probably go away just to make room for some newer stuff, but they won't be ones that people typically are big movers. I saw somebody asked about the Cocoa Chemist. That was actually a cigar that Brad had been working on for about a year, maybe a little bit longer. I actually have the Cocoa Chemist reblend and the Connecticut version in my hands right now. They are very good. It's a little bit fuller bodied than the original Cocoa Chemist, but that blend Brad was working on for over a year, and we originally had a name on it called the Solar Flare and the Alchemy Extract. But that's going to be changed. And I had a hard time doing that. Actually, I actually had me and Kerry had a little bit of conversation. I was like, I'm going to fight you about this. I'm not changing the name. This is the last one we named together. I'm not doing it. I was doing that thing, right? Being grouchy and grumpy about it. And, but then I started really thinking about it, and this is a blend that only we're ever going to have. It's a blend that him and somebody personally were working with together for a year or more on. And, I think we're going to call the lighter one, the Faithful Servant. And then the darker one, we're going to call the 114, which is an homage to the verse in 2 Timothy 1:14, which basically says like, take care of the good that's entrusted to you. And I look at that like, there's something very big outside of just a cigar shop and cigars that was entrusted to us, to carry forward for Brad.
Now, how did you guys, because you guys have gone through a ton of house blends in the past. Some were one and done or a couple and done. How'd you guys? What was the process of you guys deciding which ones that you wanted to carry? Because obviously you guys used to get samples all the time. Did Brad to get them in, do you guys smoke them separately? Do you smoke them together? You take notes, and then, you know, how did that process go?
It's a good question. I would say 85 to 95% of the time we smoke them together. Right. We would sit down right next to each other, and that's what we would do. A lot of times on the podcast, when we would do the Cut Light and Smoke podcast, that's where we were smoking a lot of test blends on. So we were using that to kind of smoke and talk and go through test blends and things like that. So you'll hear some of the conversations around the test blends on some of those. But no, most of the time we would sit and smoke them together. As far as coming up with the blends, most of the time, now Brad, because of the relationship with a lot of these manufacturers that he had way back in the day with TNT, he's able to just call certain manufacturers and be like, hey, I'm looking for something. Like I was looking for a Corojo for a long time. Like the first 3 years I was here, I was trying to get a Corojo in here. And one day, one of the manufacturers came in and we were sitting down talking, and I was like, dude, I need a Corojo. Can you do me a Corojo? And he was like, dude, I think we just made a Corojo that you could probably use as a blend. And I was like, let's talk. So they sent us some of the blends. Me and Brad smoked them, and then that became the Red Sage. So, and some of them are just random people that send us blends, and they're like, yo, try this. And we smoke it, and we're like, this is great. Who do we need to call? And then obviously figure out who we call and get them that way.
I remember, and I was laughing, and I actually sent I think I sent the video to Kerr, and I don't want to call out the manufacturer because it's not just because it's funny. You were smoking the cigars, and they had sent you the cigars like a little sampler, like a 5-pack, and I think it was a podcast or something, and they didn't send you any info on the cigars, and you're like, how am I supposed to know what I'm smoking, Kerr? You remember who that who that was?
All the time.
You know, you're like, I can see what you're smoking, Brad. There's all sorts of information on what you're smoking.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, like nothing, no information, no nothing. I don't get how these manufacturers do it. How they just, you know,
they'll be like the name of the cigar company, and then you pull up the website, and there's nothing on the website, and you're like, guess I gotta go to Instagram and try to find them. And then if they're not there, then they're on Facebook. And then if you've got to reach out to them on Facebook, you're like, I don't know if I want to do business with these guys.
You hit that is something I have said, I don't know, probably 100 times on this show. You know, these boutique cigar guys and gals and these companies, you know, they don't even have a website, you know, at all. You got to call them on and like, you're like, hey, can you you know, smoke this cigar? You know, be a friend of mine, and you know, maybe put it out there. I go, no, because I don't want to tell people, oh, if you really like this cigar, you got to send them a message on Facebook, and then he's gonna, then he'll like, you know, just Venmo me this money, and then I'll send you the cigars. And it's like, what kind of
the
deal
industry's
is
already
this?
shady, bro. It doesn't need any more shadiness thrown on top of it.
And
I know it.
The cost of actually getting a website, developing it, and having it out there with just even your brand and the blends is not that much. It really isn't.
No, couple $100 if you had someone do it. You could do it yourself on a Shopify. Just have a landing page.
That's what I'm saying. Doing it. You don't even need to have somebody do it. You know, I did all mine, and it was like you take a day out. Put in your pictures, or you blend whatever, and it's not that expensive. The time is, in my opinion, I think the time that you put into that and having that resource or that reference is important. And JB, when you smoke a cigar and you can't find information on it, how deep of research do you go to? You finally just go, screw it, I'm done. I don't care how good the cigar is.
If it's from a manufacturer, like it's banded, and it's from somebody like Fuente or, you know, somebody like that, right? It's banded, it's a new company, and they send a cigar, and I can find it. I'll go find it, or I'll find somebody else's information on it just to find something on it. But if it's a factory or a manufacturer that sends us something like that, and they're not a main brand manufacturer, how much time am I going to take out to go try and find that stuff? All they had to do was send me one piece of paper that said, this is the blend you're smoking. Contact this email or phone number if you got questions.
That's it. I'll go to like
the bare minimum, right? That's the bare minimum that one could do when sending a cigar.
That's easy. I'll go to cigarcraig.com. I'll go to Half Wheel. I'll go to Cigar Coop, and that's where I stop. I'm like, if those three don't have something, I'm not going to dive deep trying to figure out what the cigar is, where it's from, and that's it. To heck with it. Just move on to the next cigar. Now going forward, how are that? When you're deciding the new house blends, I know when I was there, you had a group of guys they're helping you with the website. Like how are you do you have like those guys that you trust with a good palate that's not going to just tell you what you want to hear? Be like, hey guys, try this cigar, and then they'll be like, oh, this is the greatest cigar ever. It's like, I want to hear that. Tell me what you don't like about it.
That's a good question. Yes. Especially here, like there's enough people that come in and have gotten even when we get bundles. Sometimes we'll get bundles of test blends, right? Of one blend to try, and there are a few people that come in on a regular basis that I value their opinions very much, because there's some cigars that they flat out won't touch, and then there's really expensive like EP Carrillos, that they smoke extensively. So if I get a cigar in that they like and their palate is super picky, then I know I got something that's gonna not only be happy for them, but probably mostly everybody else too. So it's not gonna be the same, but long story short is yes, there are definitely plenty of those people around.
Right on. Now, as I know Len and Vitus said that they would be around a little more. Are they around now, or they go back to Ohio? Are they going to be back and forth to the shop more?
That's a tough question for me to answer, right? Yeah. I can tell you that from what I've seen from them is them and Kerry will both try to make a little bit more trips out here if they possibly can. It's not an expectation, right? It's hard. There's a lot going on. But I do expect to see them probably out here a little bit more than they were probably the last couple of years. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I know it get a little boring by yourself. Family's always fun to have people in.
I don't know how he did it the first couple of years, man. I can see the appreciation for why the family was appreciative for me coming around here, because man, it's weird. It's really weird being here by yourself when you haven't been, right?
Yeah.
It's like growing up with like a growth on your face and you're just used to it, and then one day you wake up and it's gone and you feel weird. Not that Bradley was a growth on my face, but
yeah, exactly. You get to the point where you're watching that clock, just ticking down. Is it almost time to close? Is it almost time to close? Versus having, I've had the fortune of working with my friends, and next thing you know, it's like it's past closing time. You're like, oh my god, we gotta get the hell out of here, and it just makes the day, go by so much faster, so much quicker, and more fun.
Yeah, Manny said that he's got to keep the Oak Island alive because we're going to send a 5-pack every time he finds something significant. So it's safe to say Kevin hasn't sent anything yet, nor will he be sending anything anytime soon.
Yeah. It was he had sent me a text earlier and asked me how my meeting with my accountant went today. And I told him, I said it was good. He keeps me in check. The IRS. I don't want to get those guys. And I go, unlike the guys on Oak Island, the IRS finds everything. So
the IRS finds more than the guys do on Oak Island.
That's it. Now, JB, do you watch Oak Island? Manny's our resident Oak Island expert.
No, I mean I know of Oak Island, but there's too much out here for me to be obsessed with, to be worried about somewhere else. We got the Superstition Mountains here, bro. So
you're the hot spot, man. Phoenix, the Phoenix Lights back in the day. That's I can only imagine. I would say when Brad used to go camping, but then I found out the stories that Brad actually hated camping. I'm like, he probably saw a whole bunch of stuff.
Stayed half a night and left.
He stayed half a night. Yeah. For people that used to listen to Brad say that he loved camping, he used to sleep in his truck, the Tahoe. He did not like camping, and then his buddies like, we'd wake up in the morning and he just like left in the middle of the night, it just and went home
all the time.
Like that is
funny.
Awesome. I love it. So earlier you mentioned golfing. We'll get into some of your hobbies. I know you're playing softball tonight, but how good of a golfer are you?
If I can play probably 2 to 3 times a week, I can usually get into the low 80s, high 70s.
Really?
But I haven't played in like 2.5 years, man. If I played now, I'm not even gonna keep count.
Yeah, I haven't played in years, ever since my knee injury. Hopefully one day I can get back. At least go play Top Golf with my daughter. Do you guys have Top Golf out there?
Oh yeah. Well, we just got the Pop Strokes too. We have 2 of the Pop Strokes out here now too. The Tiger Woods putt courses.
Oh my God, we were supposed to get one out here, but like near the Tampa, Orlando area. How is that?
My wife went for her job. Said it was great. Said there was so much people packed that they didn't even get the putt. They just hung out at the arcade.
Oh my God. Yeah. I've been hearing about that. So yeah, I'll have to look that up and see if there's one. Cause I could play putt. I just can't do the, with the knee, just can't do the golf. But, I know my daughter loves Top Golf. So mainly because she didn't have to walk anywhere. You know, I love playing golf.
You walk
to the bar. You know what changed my game the most when it comes to golf?
What's that?
I bought a $20 harmonized Wilson putter, and it is the best putter I've ever used in my entire life. I no longer 3-putt anytime. I will still 2-putt, but I don't 3-putt anymore. It's a $20 Wilson harmonized putter. Best thing I ever did.
Wow.
Oh, right on. I am last time I golfed, and I had a 15 handicap, 20 handicap. I was 1.5 putts per hole. So
That's actually pretty good.
I'm a clutch putter, but it takes me a little bit to get there, you know? So yeah.
Take the route.
Yeah. En route, you know, and I have a nice set of Ping Eye 3s, you know, Nike driver, Nike putter. So, but yeah, just takes me a few to get there. And then tonight you're playing, you got a softball game tonight, right?
Yeah. It's one of the few things that like I could convince my wife to do that isn't competitive between the two of us, because she doesn't like to lose. So
she plays with you?
Yeah, we play on so Monday nights is kind of weird. It's called a co-ed light league. So you only need 3 girls on the team. Whereas most co-ed leagues is 5 and 5, and it's really hard to find 5 girls. So that league's kind of unique. So it's only 3 girls required for that league. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my dad used to play on a co-ed league, and then he moved to the church softball league for a while. You know, it's a little
slowed it down a little more.
Slowed it down a little bit, and then still using the same bat that he had in high school. This giant wooden bat that's probably 4 feet tall. You know, it weighs like 20 pounds. You know, it's his favorite bat, and I can't believe he's never cracked.
Got the Aaron Judge gavel, bro.
You know, it is, and now he's into pickleball. You guys like that's taken the world by storm. I take it you've heard of the pickleball?
The pickleball,
bro. I would love to try it because I was always really good at ping pong. My grandpa used to win like all kinds of ping pong tournaments. He can play with like both hands, so he used to spank our butt as kids all day, every day in the basement. But I hear that like pickleball has a lot of really weird rules.
Yeah, they got a thing called the kitchen.
Yeah, what is the kitchen? I'm playing pickleball.
I know it's a square. I guess it's probably invented for women. That's why they call it the kitchen. That little.
Wow. Okay. There you go. One right there.
Yeah. Oh, look, our viewership just dropped off by half. But I don't know. My dad's really into it, but he lives like in a retirement community now. So all the guys, you know, I was thinking about buying them like one of them crazy expensive couple $100 like carbon fiber pickleball things. I don't even know what you call them.
What do they use?
It's like it almost looks like
a big ping pong paddle.
Like a big ping pong paddle. You know, but yeah, I was gonna, you know, just so he could be like Tits McGee out there with his you know, super fancy you know, yeah, but yeah, I'm like because that's the kind of son I am, you know, but yeah, so that's what's big out here, pickleball. Like I don't want to get into it because I get hooked on things. So I'll be out there with my dad, just making obnoxious moves, you know, like a father-son tournament thing going on. But so what else do you do? What else do you do for fun?
Man, I'm pretty chill, man. I don't do a whole lot. I'm pretty boring. I like to hike. I still ride my BMX bike a little bit. I ride my Harley, obviously. I love riding my Harley. I'm pretty chill, man. Over the last 6 or 7 years, I've really kind of pulled away from a lot of the stuff I used to do. Like I used to play basketball 3 or 4 nights a week. And I've just kind of decided that I'd rather spend more of that time with my wife than being away from her. Especially since for a long time with working at Apple, I really didn't have control over my time. It was very hard to find time available to do anything. So, yeah.
Now, are you back to writing? Because I know So
yeah.
So last week we had Ed Trevino on. I know you know Ed from
Illusione.
Yeah, I think we still got I think that's still in the thing. Yeah, his beautiful.
It's a crazy bike, man.
Crazy bike. And I asked him if he thought about, obviously when writing, is that something he thinks about the accident? Is that something? Because I went through a pretty bad accident, really bad back in the day, and I eventually sold my bike, and I don't think I could get over it. But it happened to me. Is that something that's on your mind when you're riding?
It's a really good question, man. I think you're not human if you don't, right? If it's not on your mind, you're just not human, right? It's one of those things where, so I had an accident when I was probably like 22, so about 11 years ago. I still actually have some pretty bad damage on my hands, so it wasn't as bad as your accident, Kevin. But yeah. I had really bad anxiety and like PTSD with people pulling out in front of me for a really long time. And then until I bought my Harley, not my green one, but I had a Harley before that was orange and white when I first started working here. When I bought that Harley and got back on it for the first time and actually like rode it home from the dealership was the first time I didn't feel that stress or that sadness or like that monkey on my back was gone. And I had a little bit of that again, obviously after this happened, where I'm like, do I sell the bike? Do I try to get Grandpa to sell me his Mustang and trade the bike? And but ultimately, it's something I love to do. It's something that he loved to do, and it's something that he wouldn't want me to give up, just simply because he had an accident.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's definitely something I know that he would not want you to give up, because it's something that he loved so much. I'm glad he got rid of that stupid Hayabusa. That bike was just insane. That was like no human should be riding that.
When I first started working here, there's another guy in Phoenix, really close to where we're at, that looks exactly like Brad on a motorcycle. So I would be driving down the road and I'd take pictures and I'd be like, yo, is that you? And he's like, nope, I'm at the shop. I'm like, is this you? He's like, no, it's at the shop. And I'm like, you better come get this poser, bro. Because this is you on your Busa.
Oh my God. So yeah, it was so another Bradley Reef twin out there somewhere, riding the Busa.
Yep.
I got a
sense.
Oh really?
Nope.
That's kind of freaky, actually. So that is Ghost Rider, out there. So, all right, I got a question for both of you, actually. And I know I sent all the show notes to Kerr, and I wrote this one afterwards. I didn't know if I could ask this question without either being sounding disrespectful or just trying to get through it without getting emotional. But it's something I've wondered like 1,000 times over the last month or so. You both know I don't have faith. I used to call myself an atheist, but Brad used to yell at me all the time. Bro, you're not an atheist. You're not an atheist. You're agnostic atheist.
It's not real. Atheism's not real. It takes more faith to be an atheist.
Yeah, it's atheism. Isn't real. So now I at least say agnostic atheist. People always say, and people said that to me, I thinking that it'll make me feel better without, because I don't tell the world that I don't have any faith. You know, they always say, you know, it's God has a plan. God has a plan for all of us. This was all, you know, part of a bigger plan. And for me, it just makes me mad. You know, does it make you mad? Kerr, you lost your brother, you know, in the prime of his life. We all lost Brad. Does it make you mad, you know, that he took him away from us? I got you, bro. Has your faith wavered? Because my lack of faith has grown stronger. Has your faith wavered at all?
So here's the thing, man. This is the beautiful thing about Bradley Reith, right? And this is the work. This is just the proof of the work that this man did while he was on this planet, right? And nah, man, I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I had my Job moment when when things first happened, right? I closed up the shop on that Tuesday and I went home. My wife wasn't home yet, and I went out in the backyard and I had my Job moment, and I said, "What? Why?" And then while I was out there having that moment of just on my knees in tears going, why now? Why him? It automatically just came out of me to say, there's really this kind of a spiritual war going on that you needed this guy to come up and fight this war with you right now. And then it clicked. And then I said, dang, if there's anybody on this planet that's going to go up there and stand next to Jesus and the angels and throw lightning and thunder for him in a holy war that we don't know about, Brad's going to do it. And he's going to make it freaking rain thunder, bro. That man, you kidding me? So I don't look at it as I'm angry, man. I'm happy that I got that man fighting a spiritual war that's going on in this world right now. And we have Bradley Reith on our team, bro. Bradley Reith on our team. I'm not scared. And I'm not mad.
Believe it or not, that makes me feel better. It does. They care.
I mean, but not to cut Kerr off, but like, think about it this way, man. You know how hard you have to pray to go out the exact way that you want to go out, right? Like, how many of us want to lay in a hospital bed and die with tubes in us, dying of some sort of Alzheimer's or cancer that's just eating away at our body? That dude was bumping music with a smile on his face, jamming on his freaking bike with a smile on his face, a heart full of love, knowing that even if he died that day, that everything was going to be okay. And it has been. Hasn't been easy, but it's been okay. I can find comfort in that.
Right on. Kerr, what about you when your brother passed? I know, you know, it's not something we ever talked about before.
No, it's tough. I mean, you know, he's my older brother. You know, I look up to him. He's my idol, my hero, the guy I really tried to model myself after. And, you know, getting that call was really tough. It was sudden. You know, I think if you're not, you know, we're all human. So if you don't have a bit of anger inside of you when that happens, then I don't believe you. I don't. I think that we're all human. We're all going to be angry, and I know anybody who is strong in faith will tell you. I mean, it's a natural human emotion. You know, if you do read the Bible and you do believe in Jesus, Jesus got angry. Come on, I mean, you know. So to think we're above that is silly. You know, we're born and we're going to die. You know, that's the bookends of our life. That's unavoidable. So it's what you do in between that time that matters. And I think that's really where the faith does help you get through it. You know, my brother, you know, his passing and his loss sucked. And my mourning is me being selfish because I miss him. And I miss the time that we're not going to have together. But I know we'll be together someday. And I know I still have my life to live. And that's the way I look at it. You know, when you talk about you being an atheist or an agnostic or whatever, Kev, you know, I know you believe in you live and you die. It's what you do in between really that matters, and the faith that carries you through the hard times in between. You know, for me growing up, you know, in a very religious household, and you know, doing, kind of losing my path, going down the wrong path and losing my way and getting back on it again. It's something that I still miss him. I miss him every day. And that anger is gone. It's just right now, it's just that hole in my heart that misses him. But that's all human emotions. That's what we have. That's the human flaw that we have. And the reason why Jesus came down here was to have God and man, so we can understand and comprehend that, that is that he experienced both, being God, but also experienced human emotion. I mean, really, I told you before, Kevin, read the book Beautiful Outlaw. It really puts things in perspective of not only, because I grew up Catholic, and Catholics were always like, Jesus and God, but then it was all about the rules. I think a lot of the religions are like that. But when you really get down to understanding what it was like to have someone on this earth who was both God and man and experienced human emotion, but then also was God, it's pretty amazing. And I think you'd like that book because the guy who wrote it was an atheist.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to pick that up.
So that's my two cents on anger with loss. And it's human emotion, man. It's natural. You just can't get consumed in it. It's like the grieving process. You can't get consumed to get stuck on a part of the grieving process. You have to go through the grieving process. And anger is one of the steps in the grieving process. You just can't get stuck on it. You have to be able to move on and in order to heal.
There was something you said, Kevin, that sparked a Bradley Reith-ism while I was sitting here. So I wrote it down real quick. And I don't know if he ever said this to you, but it stuck with me because it was something he said here pretty recently. He said, when it comes to faith in God, would you rather believe and be wrong or not believe and be wrong? Right?
Yeah.
So like, would you rather have faith and believe and be right? Because if you're wrong, you're just wrong. No harm, no foul, right? Nothing changes for you other than you lived your life by the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? So that's a Bradism that stuck with me is would you rather risk it and err on the side of caution and be right, or not and be wrong?
It makes sense. Religion just seems like so much work.
It's not religion, Kevin. You see, that's where I think that's where a lot of
good word, Kerr.
A lot of folks get steered wrong and get turned off by the religion part of it. Because I had a good buddy of mine. He's much younger than me. When I moved down here to South Carolina, he said every religion. He was a Baptist, and he said I looked up and I studied all different religions, and they all had one thing in common: rules. And those rules superseded what was being truly taught and what the word is. And when you start following rules versus following what the word is, then you've lost your path. And that's what turns people off from religion. You can have very strong faith and love in your heart and belief, and not go to a service, one service, or follow one of their rules. That's what matters the most. And and JB, it's funny you say that, because I've had some people say that too. It's like, you might as well do it. Cover your ass, because what if you're wrong? But you know what? I think even if you start looking into it and reading more about it and educating yourself on it and allowing part of you to take in the word and take it in more than just a story, but as reality, that's where the faith really dwells in your heart, not based off of going through the motions and going through the steps. And that's a little bit deeper. That's why, for me and, Joseph, our sons, he's very strong in faith as well. It's amazing to see when someone actually does allow that into your heart, because that's what'll change your heart. It's all about love. There's some people I don't love. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's a streak in me that's a nasty streak, and that it's kind of like that scene from Avengers. It's like, hey, Dr. Banner, get angry. It's time to get angry. He's like, nah, Cap, you gotta understand something. I'm always angry. It's having that faith and that love, suppressing that side and overcoming it and overpowering it.
Well said. Is there a one final question before we let you go for the night? Man, I can't believe it's been almost 2 hours already. When you get up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, is there a Brad-ism that takes you through the day? For me, it's he would preach, turn the other cheek, be the better man, purge your cigar often. And I still purge my cigar often, even though if I know. And then retrohale, I still won't retrohale. I don't, Brad, if you're out there, it doesn't do anything, Brad. Stop it.
Heaven.
When you wake up in the morning, you put your shoes on, get ready to come to work. What's the Brad, not just for work, but in life? What's the thing that you remember?
Man, there's so many, man. This could literally be a whole podcast series of just Bradisms, right? I think there's one that sticks with me very heavily, and it's you can either use people to make money, or you can use money to help people, and we live by the use money to help people. Cigars is just a method for us to get people in the door to talk to them, man. Really, I mean, this is a pulpit more than it was anything else. So I would say that's a big one. Another one that Brad would say, especially, which holds really true for me right now, because this is a very vulnerable time for a lot of people. And he would say friendships and relationships are built of time, trust, and truth. And they're gained in blood, sweat, and tears, and lost in buckets. Right? So to get those friendships and to build those relationships, it's going to take blood, sweat, and tears with time, trust, and truth. And then when you break that time, trust, and truth, it's lost in buckets. Right? So that's another one that I hold pretty closely, especially right now. Man. Honestly, man, one of the biggest things he would say is just like, love Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Love Jesus, get to know Jesus, right? That's probably the thing. When I wake up in the morning and I don't go back to sleep for some reason, if it's like 4 a.m., because I'm usually up between 4 and 5. If I'm up and I have any kind of not, like, my mind's not idle, I can't sit still, I can't be quiet, I can't be calm, then that usually tells me that I need to read. I need to pick up the book. I need to read the Bible. I need to pick it up and I need to read. So that kind of plays in my head a lot. And as somebody who grew up in a ton of different religions, I really strayed away from it. And like a lot of people, Brad helped pull me back into that. Right. So that's probably a couple things. There's another thing he says a lot, and you'll see Kerry say this a lot too. He'll say, that's a good word. It's a good word.
Brad's favorite word, yeet. That when you say that, that's a good word. I remember when he learned about the word yeet. Now I say that word because of Brad, and I always have. And every time I use that word in a text or I say it in conversation, I always think about Brad yeet when his son taught him the word yeet.
Oh man, hearing the conversations that he had with his kid, just being like the old head on YouTube, and then like his son just dropping like this millennial verbiage and knowledge on him, and he comes in the next day and he's using all these weird words and terms, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's what the kids are saying. I'm like, I don't know what you're he was on TikTok more than I don't even have a TikTok, bro. That dude was on social media more than I was.
Oh my gosh.
He loved social media, man. He loved the TikTok, the market. He loved it, man. I don't know. It's something he just really enjoyed.
That's it. It's, as we used to talk about that a lot, like I said, because I'm just like him, addicted to the social media. You gotta be out there on every platform all the time, throwing your mug out there. So
yeah, I always know what you eat for breakfast.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta stay relevant, and that's what Brad did best, staying relevant. People that never bought cigars from him, manufacturers that never sold cigars from him, all have, just about all of them have a favorite Brad story, a favorite Brad video. I talked to so many people, since the accident, and many of them knew my relationship with him, but they never had any relationship, personal or business. And then they would tell me stories. Oh, I remember watching this one video, and it's just like, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So, all right, man, we're going to let you hop off here. We're going to close out the show, head over to your softball game. And who's a better player, you or your wife, by the way?
Me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm very athletically gifted. That's why I said I got to find something that's a team sport, because if we play together, she's probably going to lose.
Yeah, get her into pickleball and put her in the kitchen.
She's smarter than me, though. So
yeah, that makes up for it. So I got that going on too. So,
and better looking.
Yes,
can't forget that. Definitely better looking.
Agreed. All right, brother. You have a great night, man.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, man. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll have you on again. You got to break Brad's record. So he's got the record of being on the show the most times out of any one person.
Oh, geez.
It'll take a couple years, but maybe we'll get you back on.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support.
All right. You have a good one, man.
You too, guys. Appreciate it.
See you. All right. Everybody start typing in the word cigar. We're going to give away another sticker this week. We're giving away just a sticker, nothing else but this sticker. So type in the word cigar, and we'll get you this sticker out to you.
Single sticker.
Right away. And in the meantime, let's hear a word from our partners over at Corona Cigar. All right, it's time for the Tapping Ash and Taking Names giveaway presented by Amendola Family Cigars. The only people that cannot win tonight are Cigar Joe, D. Boyd, Manny, and Johnny Bravo.
You use the word yeet a lot, huh?
I do use the word yeet. I use it
at work.
Yeet
word.
Yeah, yeet. When you yeet something, you throw it away or you kick it.
I heard Joe use it. I never adopted it, nor did I ever hear you use it, or I probably would have made fun of you.
Oh. as you should, as a friend of mine, you should be
as a grumpy old man and a friend of yours. I would have definitely pointed out the yeetness, but I was unaware.
Yeah. All right, can you see that on your screen?
I can.
All right, we'll start collecting comments here, and we will pick a winner. Ben Irwin, congratulations, Ben. Send me an email, Kevin@cigarprop.com, and I will send you your sticker out in the mail right away. Next week, we're going to welcome back the guys from Never Ash Cigar. We had them on a couple years ago. The business was like brand new. So we're going to, I love these follow-up interviews. Kerr, were you with me when we originally had the guys on the show?
It sounds familiar. I could have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to go back, and I'm definitely going to go back and watch that video or that interview, just so I have some questions about where they're at. I know they got some cigars coming out, so we're excited to talk with those guys. Make sure you're following Cigar Prop, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars on all the social medias, as well as Zeal Cigars on all the social medias. The links are in the show notes down below, the podcast description if you're listening to this. Also in the notes and the description are the social media links for all of our partners that make this happen each and every week. So make sure you give them a follow on the Instagram. Thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars, we are the muscle. Illusione Cigars, deep in flavor, deep in your mind. Corona Cigar, and of course, Drew Estate and Experience Acid. Kerr, I want to thank you. This is a very cathartic show for me. I was hoping to get through it all the way. You know, a little hiccup there at the end, but thank you.
Well, glad I could be there for you. It's you know, when you start talking about emotional stuff, it's tough. I mean, it is, and dealing with loss, and it's even more uncomfortable and becomes challenging when you're, you know, talking about it openly, and know that there's thousands of people watching. But you know what? I also think that, you know, it's healing. You know, I've always said it about my brother, and it's great to hear the way that you and JB and everybody speaks about Brad. It's, you know, they, and I do it with my brother. It's they're gonna live on in the stories, in the conversations. You know, when you have someone who's been that impactful and that great, and that much of an influence, you know, as long as their name lives on, you know, they'll live on. And I think that's the best you can do, and the homage or the honor and the respect that you can pay to someone that you had so much love for is never stop talking about them, never stop telling stories.
Perfect. I love it. We're going to end it there. We'll see everybody next week. Let's hear a final outro from all of our partners. We'll see everybody next week.